watching Channel 5 News. I'm not saying I watch Channel 5 News, but you're watching Channel 5 News, and you want to find that channel in the TV. So you go open up the TV. It's not in there. You got to get the remote and change the channel. So consciousness, consider our true selves are separate from our physical selves.
Well, and that's where I use science.
Sort of like a remote control. So
and that's where I use science. I use science, and with what you're saying, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but with what you're saying, I use science and I say your bioelectrical field, because that's the best way I can get people to see it. That your body is a physical vessel, but your bioelectrical field not only holds the molecules of your body together, but that's who you really are, is this bioelectrical field that you can't even perceive as a physical person, and nobody around you can see. So go ahead, continue what you're saying. Sorry.
I actually lost track of what I was saying.
Well, that will happen with all this, but that's what blows me away is we get so lost, because in these ancient teachings of like Egyptians, like, do you know there's theories of Egyptians? They have these staves in some of these temple pictures, and these staves are radiating light, and they're not candle drawings. They're actual these weird looking staves that have like these crystal-like things on them that are glowing, and it's really phenomenal when you look at this concept and the fact that they had these, the pyramid itself. If you actually look at the pyramid and you understand Tesla technology, I mean, that's pretty damn close, especially if there's water running underneath it, which is, the whole Sphinx and the underground passages, and there was water flooding those whole areas back then. It was very, luscious area. So, I mean, there's so much opportunity to start to compare how there's more going on than what people know. And it's technological related. Like, it's not, you can't separate spirituality and science. Like, and that's why I have the segment that we're in right now is called Religions and Sciences Revealed. Because for me, religions and sciences, like for me, I don't look at religions as doctrines and dogmas. I try to explain to people that religion is your relationship with God. Doctrines and dogmas are how they indoctrinate you into what you believe, and dogmatic practices to keep you trapped in a secular relationship. And you see what I'm saying? So there's a big difference. So religion is a relationship with the source, relationship with this, the matrix, the source, the one that goes all the way back to the source. I love the Matrix movies, man. But I think that's a really big thing is when we start to realize that relationship with the source is science. There's a whole description of reality when it comes down to comparing yourself to this electromagnetic frequency we call consciousness, and then it vibrates from our being to this higher sense, which is called the collective consciousness, and then you have the collective consciousness of the planet and all the animals and plant life on it, and I think that's what's really happening is what you're seeing is you're seeing the earth is actually, and I hate to sound so much like a hippie, but I think the earth is actually what's fighting back. And I think some of us who are tapped into that are just like, man, I'm disgusted with the planet. Like literally disgusted. Like, why are we cutting down all these trees if we can make the same amount of paper and materials with hemp and other materials?
Yep. You ever, I might be going a little bit off topic here. You ever just look back and just close your eyes and just listen? And just look for the silent awareness of your mind, not the part of your mind that's thinking and is cognitive, but the part of your mind that is silent and observes.
The subconscious. Oh yeah. Well, I look at it as I try to say. I mean, the way I was taught was your mind is a tool, and you must lose your mind before you can understand. Before you can find yourself. And the biggest secret of all is to know thyself. But if you have a mind, you will never know who you really are. because your ego or your mind will always be in the way, telling you who you are, and you will never truly see. So that's the way I perceive it. Is there's this physical flesh that is here, and we're a part of it, but it's not us. And the mind is a tool that our consciousness uses. And so when you become aware, like what you're saying, you sit back and you become awareness, what you're doing is stepping out of the mind. You're losing your mind. You're losing the body, and you're just like, whoa, like, hey, I'm here. Like, this is really, like, all that stress of, like, I got this bill, I've got this to do, you know, all those things that are just things, they all kind of fall away, you know, and it just becomes, what, you know, wow, this is peaceful. I mean, I love that, and I think one of the biggest reasons I fight for what I fight for is because I feel I don't have the right to do that until the rest of the world has the right to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much persecution, religious persecution. There's so much scientific persecution. There's so much propaganda and lies that I already know what the awareness is and how it feels, and I love it. But it doesn't feel good to do it by myself. It doesn't feel right. Like, what's the point? You know, it's like having a really cool paintball gun, man. Why do I want to have it by myself? It doesn't do anything for me to have a paintball gun that's badass by myself. If I get a bunch of guys to go play with me, you know, and we got some girls too, we got a 20-on-20 game going, that's a paintball game I want to be in. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man, especially Iron Man style. Let's not count the shots and just keep shooting each other until you give up. I like that game. Oh, man. But, yeah, I mean, I think meditation is a key. We're going to have some more shows here in the future, and that's why I have the occult and Masonic and Rosicrucian stuff in the links, or in the tags, as well as with the, alternative news. At the beginning, we do the news brief, but when I go into the segments, the biggest thing I want to bring is I want to use the news to bring truth when it comes to political topics, social topics, things like that, and technology. But when it comes to the segments, I really want to start to incorporate what the mystery schools are supposed to be teaching, because I think it's a matter of Aleister Crowley said it, and I hate quoting from this man because everybody's got such a stigma about him, but he even said it in his own work that he is not the last. Like, he never claimed to be a messiah. He never claimed to be like this all-knowing, all-wise everything. He channeled deities that he claimed were those, but he himself always claimed to be a tool used by the B666. And that's where it's like, he claimed to be B666. No. He was embodying the consciousness of B666 that exists within the collective minds of all humanity. And that's really hard for people to grasp. And that's leaving your mind and going into that awareness of the all, and being able to step away from your personality and being like, and writing something down and not being you. And you're embodying a personality of the existence. And that's a sacrifice, really. That's a sacrifice of your own character, because now look, we call him the most wickedest man of the world. And it's sad because it's he really, if you read a lot of what he did, he passed on information for some of the new adepts and new initiates. So, but anyways, one of the things he said was there will be new people who come and bring up new schools and new teachings, because this is the time of Horus. This is the time where the child will be reborn and will spread the word. And I think that was a really profound statement that a lot of people just take all the horrible things that he was involved in and miss completely. That it's as simple as he, first of all, like Hitler, was a part of a very harsh upbringing, and so he became radical. Like, that's the only reason Aleister Crowley was even who he was. I mean, it was like a poem I heard him say, when Sophelia farts, I get a whiff of her farts. And, like, literally, just like, I can't help but smell them. They taste so delicious. Like, he goes into this rant on farts. And it's when he was going to Cambridge. So it's like, obviously, the guy's got some issues when it comes to his, his moral turpitude. Because he's trying to figure it out. Because why? He was indoctrinated into a radical Christian belief that completely destroyed his foundation for existence. Because it wasn't about living with the earth. It wasn't about being a good person. It was about being afraid of your God. Fear. Go ahead.
that's a good point, because I mean a lot of well, I'm not going to say all, but most religion is predominantly fear-based, and one of the ways that they keep people in line is the idea of hell. Is the idea that if you don't believe in this, or if you don't buy into this, or if you don't participate in this, you're gonna end up in an eternal lake of fire, for the rest of eternity. And people just sort of undergo that, and I used to literally pee my pants thinking about that when I was 7 years old. My mother used to tell me, if you disobey your father, you're gonna go to hell.
And that's because
and
that's so ridiculous because it's taking. Go ahead.
It's just something that has almost completely taken over, our society, and that's why it's so hard to converse about this topic with many Christians and Catholics and Muslims.
Right. Well, that's where I laugh because I'm baptized Catholic. I was raised partly Christian, and my stepfamily's Jewish. So I mean, I grew up in the traditions and the monotheistic traditions, and then I found out about paganism because I'm from California, and I studied in all the stuff. And the reality is, it's all the same shit. It's really just be a good person. Here are the rules. Don't do anything stupid. And that's what it comes down to. But yeah, there's such a stigma, and I really think that the New World Order, not the Illuminati, I separate these two in two different categories. I think there are New World Order people who are Illuminati. I don't think they're real Illuminati. I think they're just infiltrated royalty, who use their power, but they're not adepts. They're not initiates. They're not people who study. They're people who are given and wipe their butt. And they do whatever they want because they have the power, but the reality is the New World Order is pushing this term Illuminati and Freemasonry in order to blind people to what the New World Order really is, and the New World Order is really Zionism. I mean, Zionism, which isn't even true Judaism or Hebrew culture. Zionism, I mean, there's stories of rabbis in Palestine after World War II telling the UN, do not create a state of Israel. You will see nothing but terrible things. And what they do, they create a state of Israel. There are Jewish culture. Like, this is one fun thing. There was an article about these Jews who are in Canada. And this is, when I say Jews, I mean these are like Orthodox, traditional Hebrew Jews. Do you know that Hebrew Jews believe that being a Jew means being an outcast? It doesn't mean the chosen people. It means being an outcast from the chosen people. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
There are actual sects of Jews that believe in this. And these are the ones who stay away from technology. They stay away from the sins of modern society because they believe that the tradition goes is that to be a true Israelite, which is only a term, it's not a place, it's a spiritual meaning. To be a true Hebrew is to live by the Ten Commandments. So if you live by the Ten Commandments and you're a Hebrew in Israel, can you take Gaza? Like, can you take or shoot at people in Gaza? Can you take land from the Palestinians? Can you enforce these certain rules where you're on land that's not even yours, but you're having your citizens live there because of an agreement, but really you're pushing the lower citizens down? No, that doesn't exist in the Hebrew culture. And literally some of these Jewish sects actually claim that the Christian version of their doctrine and the new, I think it's called Cossack Jews, the Cossack Jews and their whole Torah is not even the right one. Like it's completely perverted, and it includes war and violence, which the traditional Hebrews were more mystics and soldiers who believed in peace. And they fought in the belief of an all-knowing being who was all of everybody's culture, and they believed in the Ten Commandments. And the biggest argument I've heard was, if the Ten Commandments say, thou shalt not kill, then why would our God tell us to go kill people for